know what, folks? I think I'm going to change up the way I do things for this week only. As you know, I usually start by talking about the Cuse. Well, you know what? Big news, and I mean somewhat shocking news coming out of Buffalo. Yes, Sean McDermott is no longer the coach for the Buffalo Bills. You know what? I think it was maybe a couple of years coming. You know, he's been a damn good coach. He changed the culture there at One Bills Drive because it was a dumpster fire for nearly 17 years. Yeah, going through coaches, going through quarterbacks, not finding anything that worked, especially in the wake of us being the patsies for the Patriots. But about the Patriots, I'll talk about that later. McDermott changed everything. Brandon Beane changed everything. But you know what? McDermott's gone. Beane's surviving. The one thing is, McDermott could win in the season, you know, even with less than a big array of talent, especially at wide receiver, because they had Super Josh. Yes, get him a cape, get him a uniform, get him a voice that's down like this. But I mean, hey, Super Josh could make anything happen with the Bills. But you know what? He can't make everything. You know, I mean, he showed he was human there against Denver. But I mean, that what a game to show that, hey, everybody makes mistakes. Thing is, he made too many of them. The loss is pretty much mostly on him. And I hate to be blunt, but I mean, you take a look at that. He was responsible for 4 of the 5 turnovers. But at the post-game conference, I give kudos to him for owning up to it. Yeah, he was crying and everything. He feels he let the team down. He feels he let the city down. I mean, I give kudos to you for owning up that you made mistakes, Josh. You know what? Buffalo is proud of you no matter what. You've been that generational quarterback we've needed. But I mean, heck, going back to your coach, you know, McDermott, you gave it a good whirl. I give kudos to you for changing everything. But you just could not get over that hump. It seemed as though once you get into the playoffs, you ran into a brick wall. First couple of losses in the wild card round, I could give you kudos because, hey, you're still forming the team. But, hey, once you got past that, hey, it seemed as though you always kept losing in the divisional round, and the couple times you made it to the AFC Championship, you couldn't get past that. Of course, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes kind of took care of that. But, I mean, heck, it's like Clint Eastwood said in Magnum Force, a man's got to know his limitations. And apparently, there were limitations. I'm proud of how you defended Buffalo. I'm proud of how you defended the team. I'm proud of how you defended Western New York. But I mean, heck, I kind of felt a change was probably coming. And I mean, I kind of knew you had your limitations. I wish you well in your future endeavors, McDermott. I really do. You're a good dude. But I mean, we need somebody to get us over the hump. And I mean, Brandon Beane, he's been promoted to president of football operations. You know, he's going to continue. He's going to look for a new coach. Now, who is it going to be? Yeah, Kevin Stefanski and John Harbaugh have already locked in the new positions. You just wonder who it's going to be. Maybe that offensive guy from Seattle. Maybe the offensive guy from Los Angeles Rams. Maybe it could be Mike McDaniel, although I doubt it. If Mike McDaniel comes to be the coach, hey, tell him to get a new tailor. His choice of clothes when he was the Dolphins coach was hideous. And heck, you know, even they're looking at Brady. I mean, the Joe Brady, that is. But heck, if he calls as a head coach is how he called some of the plays for the Bills' offensive coordinator, very questionable. You gotta wonder. I mean, Buffalo has become an attractive job. I hope Bean and Pagula do their betting and everything, getting a coach that could get us over the hump. Maybe Mike Tomlin, since he resigned as Pittsburgh's coach. That'd be interesting. Of course, Buffalo would have to give up some compensation to Pittsburgh, but whatever. A sad end to a season, and I mean, sayonara, Mr. McDermott. I'm not saying, goodbye and good riddance. You know what? Good luck. I know you're going to be employed pretty quickly, but I mean, heck, we got to do what we got to do. That's all I'm going to say on that. And now I'm going to get to talking to the Orange. You know what? We had a high of beating Florida State, but then we had a big low losing to Boston College. Why'd you go up to a team that we should have beaten and then lose? It always seems to be the thing with the Syracuse football or basketball team. Yeah, we get to play a tomato can, even a tomato can in our conference, and we lose. You know what? That definitely really hurt any chances we had of the NCAA tournament, because we were playing NCAA tournament ball, got worthy ball. I mean, Donnie Freeman seems to be that piece that we've sorely needed since he's come back into the lineup. But now we've got to regroup. We're starting to get towards the big guns of the ACC in the coming weeks. And I mean, tonight, Virginia Tech, and Saturday, Miami. Miami is kind of the start of the big guns. Virginia Tech is no slouch. And I mean, again, a 9 o'clock tip-off? Really, guys? You want people to come into work in Syracuse Wednesday going, that's the way I acted when I came down for school in the morning, and my dad, how my mom always wondered how they could get me to go to school, You can't keep people bleary-eyed, Syracuse. You got to schedule things where they're not like that, where they're not sleepwalking. Well, you know what? It seems as though the SU basketball team sleptwalked on Saturday. They can't from now on. Let's look ahead. North Carolina, Duke, SMU, Cal, the big guns of the ACC conference are coming up in the coming weeks. We can't start sleepwalking. Or are we going to be NIT bound, anyone? And of course, the transfer portal. Yeah, we've made some pretty interesting pickups in the transfer portal, but we've seen some of our guys go to bigger schools. Heck, Darrell Gill Jr. goes to an SEC school. Others are going to SEC and other ACC schools. You know what? We got to do something. And I mean, like I said, the NCAA has to do something about that portal. Maybe we have to say something to Spock. Hey, Spock, you think you could do something with the NCAA? I don't think that's logical, Kenny. Or as Bones would say, damn it, Kenny, I'm a doctor, not a fixer of the NCAA. Oh, well. I mean, heck, it's going to be interesting coming up as we get to the meat of the ACC schedule. And, of course, in a couple of weeks, lacrosse is just around the corner. Let's see what Mr. Gate can do. And then I'm going to talk about the NCAA Football Championship. You know what? We play Miami on Saturday in basketball. You know what? They thought the Canes were back. But Indiana decided, hey, we'd like to have an NCAA championship. Kudos to the Hoosiers for winning the NCAA football championship. And kudos to Kurt Signetti. I mean, he came from a pretty good program when James Madison was in the FCS, now part of the NCAA. And it seemed as though some of his players stayed there, carried James Madison to the college football playoff. But Signetti brought a core of players to him, to Indiana. Well, I guess Indiana wanted them. Lord, they can't go back there. I mean, to James Madison, that is. Now, are we going to hear a siren coming? Hey, Indiana wants them. Lord, they can't go back there. Kudos to Indiana for winning the NCAA Football Championship. Now, can they keep this in the era of the transfer portal? I mean, can they keep it going? Can Kurt Signetti keep it going? Or is he going to leave for greener pastures? Hopefully not. And last but not least, the basketball for the high school ramping up. Waterloo girls ramping up. Heck, they made mincemeat out of their rivals. Minders comes into the gym, and boy, did Waterloo run roughshod over them. Of course, I'm still wondering, can Coach Bree get a little depth? You know what? Maybe we need a swimming pool. That'll give them some depth. Ha ha ha. But of course, Minders and Waterloo, we start getting into the meat of the schedule. And of course, with midterms going on, heck, the students' focus has got to be on the tests. And also, I mean, when it comes to nighttime, heck, they got to have a couple of good games. Waterloo, the boys, Marcus Whitman, and their other rivals, Geneva, coming to the Waterloo gym. Gonna be an interesting week. And I mean, can Minders kind of right the ship? I don't know. But I mean, we're heading towards sectionals in a little more than a month. We'll see what happens. And that's all the time I have for this week. I'll see you next week.